So today we are going to be working with a pinch pot technique to go and create our project, and we will be making either toad houses or fairy houses that you can go and put in your garden. So to start with, we're going to go and put down either an old t-shirt or an old pillowcase, so that way we've got a nice clean soft surface to work on, and then we can wash it once we're done. In addition, we're also going to need a little bit of slip. This is just a mixture of clay and water, and so it's going to be a little thick, a little goopy, and that's exactly what we're looking for. We'll also need a little bit of water, so I have some in a container that we can use as needed. And then we're going to need something which has a point, and so we can use either a toothpick, a pencil, or even a nail, if that's something that you have around the house. And so we just want something that's got a little bit of a point that we can use. And then we'll also be using something that you have available for texture. And so you can use something like a binder clip, something like the end of a pen, or even a spoon or a knife that you can go and use to create different patterns. So we'll keep those until later. And of course, we're going to go and need our clay as well. So here's a finished version of a toad house or a fairy house that I made earlier, and our project is going to consist mainly of two parts. One is the bottom and then one is the roof, and these are actually both pinch pots that we will make, and so you can see that it's kind of like a hollow shape on the inside, and then we can go and add our details and create our own project as we go. So to begin with, we're going to go and take our clay, and we don't need this whole chunk to go and create our pinch pots. So we're going to go and kind of section off a chunk, and then we also want to save a little bit of clay for the details that we'll go and add. So I'm going to separate that again into two chunks, and I'll take the larger chunk to work with for the base of my project. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to start to form this into a ball. I'm going to squish this in my hands and use my fingers to press, and we're going to work our chunky bit of clay into something more like a ball. And so we're going to go and make this kind of round. We can tap this as we go, and then we're going to do the same thing with our other piece of clay that we want to go and use for the roof. So again, I'm going to squish this and compress it and then get this into more of a round shape. So these round balls are what we're going to turn into pinch pots. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we have a really nice smooth surface. So once we get this nice and round, we're then going to go and take either our thumb or our finger, and we're going to go over the surface, kind of sliding or smushing that clay to go and cover up any creases or cracks that might be on the surface. So you want to take your time when you do this and make sure that you go over your entire ball of clay, smoothing this out as we go. And that way those creases won't become cracks later. So I'm going to do that with both. So just work your way around, smoothing everything out as you go. And that way we know that we'll have a nice even pinch pot at the end. So once we get this even and smooth, we're ready to go and make this into a pinch pot. To do that, we're going to go and use our thumb. We're going to press into the center of our clay, and then we're going to use our thumb and our fingers to go and pinch. And we're going to be using this motion to go and press on the wall of our clay. So we're going to take our thumb and we're going to have our clay in our other hand. We're going to press down really hard, but we don't want to go all the way through the base. And then from there, we're going to use this motion to go and press the clay and make it thinner. We're going to start at the bottom, work our way up towards the rim, and we're going to rotate our clay as we work around. So starting at the base, we're going to go and press that clay between our thumb and our fingers. And we're going to rotate the clay so we can go and apply that pressure on all sides. It's going to start to thin out your clay, and it's also going to start to make it a little bit bigger and a little bit wider, which is what we're hoping for. So this larger piece of clay will turn into the base of our toad and fairy houses. And as we go, we're rotating our clay so we don't make any one particular part of our wall too thin. And we're gonna work our way, going from that bottom up towards the rim. And while we don't want our clay to be too thick, we also don't want it to be too thin. So as we're working this and it starts to get wider, and we make our way up towards the top of our pinch pot, once we think that we're close, we can also double check using our pencil to see if we're on track for a good thickness. So we want the wall to be about the thickness or the size of a pencil. So when we think that we're close, we can use our pencil as a gauge, and it's looking pretty good. So from here, if you want to go and press a little bit and make this more round, you can do so. You can alter the shape of your pinch pot or the bottom of your house as you wish, like so. And then we're going to turn this upside down and we're going to tap it onto the surface of the table, and that's going to give us a really nice flat edge. So very gently, we're just going to pick this up and then tap this. And that's going to give you a really nice even edge, so that way this doesn't tip and wiggle around. So next we're going to go and make another pinch pot, and we just made the base of our project, and now we need to go and make the roof. So what you'll notice about the roof is that while this is a pinch pot, it's also a little bit more domed, and it's a little wider on the edges than what we did for the base. So we're going to start out the same. We have our ball of clay, we've smoothed everything on the surface, and then we're going to go and press our thumb in. We're going to press around those edges. We're going to rotate our clay just like we did with the first one. If you find that after doing the first one your hand is a little tired, you can switch that up and you can use your other one. We're going to work our way around. And then because we want this part to be wider, we're actually going to stretch this out. So now I'm working my hand out so I can go and create that wider edge and that lip to our roof. And it's okay if your roof is a little wonky, if it's not even, that gives it some character. And so it doesn't have to be the same all the way around. Now, we can go and take the palm of our hand and we're going to go and cup that roof into our palm. And then we're going to squeeze this. And that's going to give us a little bit more of a peak. So if that's something that you want, you can kind of work that clay and see how it's starting to create a point. You can work that in your hand, squeezing as you go, and that will change the shape of your pinch pot. So now that we have our pinch pot, that's going to go and be our roof, we want to go and attach the two together. So in order for these to go and stay connected, we have to go and scratch and attach. So I'm going to go and use my toothpick. You can also go and use your pencil or your nail, and we're going to go and scratch the surface on the top of our house. So we're going to get that whole surface. We're going to use our scratcher to rough that up. We're going to go in both directions. We're going to get a big area because we want this to stay really well secure onto the top. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to widen and kind of stretch the clay a little bit. And you can kind of play around with how you want this to fit on your house. And then we can work that edge and that rim here in just a minute. We're going to get this attached first. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to scratch the inside. I'm going to go and make all of those rough marks. Nobody's going to see it, so it doesn't have to look pretty. But it does really help keep these two pieces of clay well joined. So from here, I'm going to go and add my glue. We're going to go over that entire area. It can be really messy, and that's fine. It's more important to make it stick. And then from here, I'm going to press this together. So I'm going to go and support underneath, and I'm going to go and press down on the top of my roof, like so, and it's going to go and seal those two pieces together. And then from here, I can go and lift up these edges, and that will go and give me a really nice, fun roof. So if you want to make it a little bit thinner, if you want to go and give it a little bit more of a wave, if you want more flat, more domed, you get to pick what you want that roof to look like. So you can also kind of alter the shape as well. So if you want that to kind of come over into a nice little fun curve, you can do that too. Okay, so now we get to go and kind of pick out some of the details that we want to go and put on our houses. And so one of the things that I thought that would be nice for a house is to go and have a door. I also added a window by cutting out some clay. And then you can also add some texture, some flowers, perhaps a chimney, and we can add some of these extra surface details next. So with the extra piece of clay that we saved from before, we can go and make some of these extra details. So first I'm going to go and make a door. I'm going to take a piece of clay, roll this in my hand, and I'm going to go and kind of make this a little bit more like an oval. Okay, and then from here I can use my index finger and my thumb to press this. And if you have parts that are starting to separate or crack, just like with our pinch pot, we can go over those areas with our finger and we can make those a little bit more smooth. So this is going to be my door, and I'm working the clay and I'm making it a little bit more into the shape that I want. I'm making it thinner as I go, using my fingers to press like so. Now you get to pick where you want your door to be. I think I'm going to go and put my door right here. And I want a flat edge. So I'm going to go and have that be the bottom of my door, and I can go and use my toothpick and I can cut off just an ever so small amount so that way it'll go and sit on the bottom of my house. I'm also going to go and give this a little window so you can go and draw in whatever shape window you want. You don't have to have a window if you don't want to, but you can go and draw that in as you wish. I'll also show you how we can do a doorknob as well. So in order to go and have this stick to our pinch pot, we're going to go and scratch and attach. So I'm going to go all over the back surface with my toothpick. I'm going to add my glue. And then I'm going to go and support underneath on the base of my house. And I'm going to go and lay this where I want this to be on the surface. And then I'm going to go and start from the center. I'm going to press that door onto the wall. I'm going to work my way out towards the edges, just like so. And it's starting to take shape. So I'm going to roll a little piece of clay, and that's going to be the doorknob. I'm going to scratch and attach. A little bit of glue. And then we can go and press that on. You want a little bit of pressure so that way the clay will stick to what's underneath. And kind of smooth out certain areas if you wish. You can also go and cut something out. So if I wanted to go and create a window back here, I can use my toothpick and I can draw whatever shape I want that window to be. Sometimes your clay will be kind of thick, so you can kind of circle around and redraw that shape until you go all the way through the clay. And we can pull that out like so. And you might end up with a little bit of a rough edge. And this is where we can go and dip our finger in the water, and we can soften up any rough areas, and we can soften up those edges with just a little bit of water, like so. There we go. So we have a door and we have a window. I think I also want to add some texture to the roof. And so I'm going to go and use the spoon, and I'm going to go and apply, it's almost going to look like roof tiles. And you can go and work your way around, applying that pressure, making those individual little tiles. And you can keep working your way as you go. Make sure that you hold your project securely in your hand, so that way you don't end up denting a surface that you don't want to. You can also keep this on the tabletop if that's easier to go and have a secure grip as well. So you can continue that all the way around. If you want to go and add texture to the walls of your house, you can go and do that. And so you can go and use different tools that you have available, and you can see what different textures they can go and create. You can think about the details that you would like to go and add to your house as well. And so if you want to go and add a mailbox, you can make a mailbox and then scratch and attach. Maybe you are going to have house numbers, so that way your toads and fairies will be able to get mail at their residence. So you can work your way around and you can add that texture as you wish. You can also go and have a chimney. So you can take a piece of clay, you can roll that into the shape that you wish. And then I'm going to go and cut this at an angle, so that way it will go and attach to the angle of the roof. So I'm going to use my toothpick. I'm going to cut that at an angle, scratch that surface, add my glue, and then I can, it's a little bit too much, and then I can go and add that to my house, pressing that down as I go. Can even give it a little bit of a chimney effect by having a hole in there so all of that smoke can come out. And you can think about if you want to go and have flowers or leaves, or if there's a windowsill that you want to go and add, and you can go and use your extra clay to go and make those additional details. And you can think about all the different areas and the different things that you would like to go and add to your particular house. So you're going to start with breaking your clay into 2 separate chunks and saving a little bit for these details. And you're going to make a pinch pot for the bottom and a pinch pot for the top. And then you can go and add doors, windows, chimneys, and anything else that you would like to go and have on your house. And then from there, you're going to go and have a beautiful thing that once it's fired and finished, you can go and put in your garden.